Good evening students and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Now before we start our daily quiz, here is a quick reminder that now you can get up to 60% discount on our live online classes as well as offline classroom program. We have a limited number of seats available and this offer is valid only until 30th May. So do not forget to click on the link in the pinned comment and register now to get a call back from our counselors. Let us take a look at our first question. How many of the following philosophy and founder pairs are correctly matched? Yoga Patanjali, Vaisheshika Jaimini, Samkhya Kapila and Nyaya Gautama. We have taken this question because the International Yoga Day celebrations, they have already been kick-started at the All India Institute of Ayurveda under the Ministry of Ayush. So on 21st June every year, we celebrate the International Day of Yoga since the year 2015. Now, India has 6 main schools of philosophy. We have Samkhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purv Mimamsa and Uttar Mimamsa, also known as Vedanta. Now, all of them, they have certain philosophies associated with them and certain founders that are linked to these philosophies. For Samkhya, we have Kapila. For Yoga, we have Patanjali. For Nyaya, we have Gautam. Vaisheshika has Kannada. Purva Mimamsa has Jaimini, while the Uttar Mimamsa, also known as Vedanta, has Vyasa. So if we go back to our question, this is correct and this is correct. This, however, is incorrect. Vaisheshika is associated with Kannada, while Jaimini is associated with Purva Mimamsa. So your correct answer is C. The next question is, who among the following are eligible for an OCI, Overseas Citizen of India card? A person whose mother is an Indian citizen but whose father is a citizen of the USA. An 80-year-old lady whose mother and father were Indian citizens but they left India in 1946. A person whose parents were citizens of India and the person serves in the Australian Defence Forces. A person whose grandparents acquired briefly for less than 5 years the citizenship of Pakistan before getting the citizenship of Canada. Now, out of all these, you can clearly eliminate at least one of the options, which is option number 4. Why? Because any person who has had the citizenship of Pakistan, even for a very brief duration, will not be eligible for the OCI card. So now that 4 has been eliminated, this leaves only these 2 options for us. So that means that 1 and 2 are correct. We just need to check whether third statement is correct or not. So we have taken this question because recently OCI card of one of the foreign citizens was cancelled because they were allegedly involved in anti-India activities. Now the OCI cards, who all are eligible to apply for it? A foreign national who was eligible to become a citizen of India on 26th January 1950 or at any time after that, or they belong to a territory that became a part of India after 15th August 1947 and her children as well as grandchildren, providing that their country of citizenship allows for dual citizenship in some form or the other under the local laws. However, if the applicant has ever been a citizen of Pakistan or Bangladesh, they will not be eligible for OCI. Now here comes the question, who was eligible to become citizen of India on 26 January 1950? So any person whose parents or grandparents were born in India as defined in the Government of India Act of 1935 and who were ordinarily residing in any country outside India were eligible to become citizens of India on 26 January 1950. So this means that this person is eligible to become the citizen of India. Also, any person whose either of the parents is an Indian citizen is eligible for the OCI card. Now, what about this statement? Now, according to the Ministry of External Affairs, any person who belongs to the defense forces of any country, even if that country allows for dual citizenship and that person's parents are Indian citizens, that person will not be allowed to get the OCI card. So this is incorrect. So your correct answer over here is A. Next question is, which of the following statements are true? The International Day of Biological Diversity is celebrated on 22nd May every year. The theme for this year was From Agreement to Action, Build Back Biodiversity. India has a dedicated Act for Biodiversity passed in the year 2002. We have taken this question because 22nd May, it is indeed celebrated as the International Day for Biodiversity. Now, under the celebrations of this day, our Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has said that we'll be setting up people's biodiversity registers in every village of India under the Mission Life. Now, biological diversity, it is often understood in terms of wide varieties of plants, animals and microorganisms, but it also includes the genetic differences within each species. Now, loss of biodiversity threatens all, including our health and well-being. So even though there is a growing recognition that biological diversity is a global asset of tremendous value for the future generations, the number of species is being reduced significantly due to certain human activities. To give importance to public education and awareness about this issue, the United Nations decided to celebrate 22nd May as the International Day for Biological Diversity annually. Now for this year, the theme is From Agreement to Action, Build Back Biodiversity, which builds upon the results of the COP15 of the Convention on Biological Diversity, which adopted the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. So if we come back to the question, this is correct and this is correct. What about this? Yes, India has a dedicated Act for Biodiversity, which was passed in the year 2002. So the correct answer is D. The next question is, the General Data Protection Regulations in news recently are related to Indian government's proposed regulations for e-commerce firms, WTO's World Trade Organization's regulations for cross-border data exchange, regulations in place by the European Union to protect the data of its citizens, a proposed bill in United States of America, Senate regarding net neutrality. Now this is a very easy question and I'm pretty sure most of you must know about the answer. Now the GDPR regulations, they have been in news for quite some time. They are a regulation in the European Union on data protection and privacy. They were first released in the year 2016. So if we come back to the question, C is our correct answer. Now we come to a PYQ from the year 2017. Consider the following statements. In India, the Himalayas are spread over 5 states only. Western Ghats are spread over 5 states only. Pulicat Lake is spread over 2 states only. Now to correctly answer this question, you will need to have a very good idea about the spread of various states in India. Now come to the first statement. Now Himalayas, you must know that they are spread over 13 states and union territories of India, including Jammu and Kashmir, Leh Ladakh, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura, and a few districts of Assam and West Bengal. So this is a wrong statement. What about Western Ghats? Now Western Ghats are spread over 6 states. What are these? Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Goa, Maharashtra and Gujarat. So this is also incorrect. Now Pulicat Lake is the second largest brackish water lake in India. In the comments, can you tell us which is the largest brackish water lake in India? Now Pulicat Lake, it spreads over 2 states, which are Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. So this is indeed correct. So your correct answer is B. Now we come to the fact of the day, which is about the economic impact of climate change on India. Now last week, the World Meteorological Organization, it announced that global temperatures are likely to surge record levels in the next 5 years. Now this will give a rise to a lot of natural disasters. Already between the years 1970 to 2021, close to 12,000 climate-related disasters have occurred in India with an economic cost associated with them equivalent to $4.3 trillion, which is 25% more than India's annual GDP. Even the Global Climate Risk Index 2021 ranked India 7th in the list of most affected countries in terms of exposure and vulnerability to climate-related risk events. Now, because of the diverse topography of India, various regions in the country, they will be experiencing different types of hazards. In the Thar Desert region, we will experience extreme heat waves. The Great Himalayan region, the one marked in purple, will experience landslides, cloudbursts and melting of glaciers. The Indo-Gangetic plains will experience river floods, heat waves and thunderstorms. The coastal regions and the Ghat regions will experience heavy precipitation, urban flooding, cyclones and landslides, while the central peninsular plateau will experience extreme heat waves, forest fires and droughts. Now, climate change, it can adversely impact both the supply side as well as the demand side. It can lead to increased inflation, reduced economic output, and it can even trigger uncertainty and change the consumer behaviors. In 2020, the World Bank said that India could account for 34 million of the projected 80 million global job losses due to heat stress related productivity decline by the year 2030. The IPCC assessments, they have also declared that India is one of the most vulnerable countries globally in terms of population that would be affected due to sea level rise. Around 35 million of our population can experience annual coastal flooding, with 45 to 50 million at risk by the end of the century. Now, according to the network of central banks and supervisors for greening the financial system, who have created an analytical framework known as National Institute Global Econometric Model to produce policy insights, and it looks at how GDP growth rate and inflation would be affected under different policy stances when compared to the baseline. The baseline is the best case scenario involving no impact of climate change. Now, according to this data, by 2050, India's GDP is likely to lower by anywhere between 8.5 to 10% under current policy scenario, or even if India follows the nationally determined contributions or the NDCs declared under the Paris Convention, which includes achieving net zero by 2070. However, if the global CO2 emissions reach net zero within 2050, then the hit to India's GDP, it will be lowest. So that means that apart from having extreme social and environmental impacts, climate change will also have extreme economic impacts on India, which will further fuel adverse social impacts on the people. So that is all about today's daily quiz. I hope you were able to understand all the concepts discussed today. So thank you very much and have a very good day ahead.